I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Sparky.
And it's salty, and you need some water?
Nope, I'm good. Let's go. Okay. That was like the worst introduction ever. Alright, so, no announcements.
I hope you guys enjoyed the fireside chat last night. If you didn't, go check it out.
You're a very smart young lady.
Of course I
Kaboom.
am.
Bang! Alright, so this is Disturbed, Down with the Sickness. Here's somebody said, he goes, I don't really comment a lot, but please stop doing new metal.
Is this considered new metal again?
Yeah.
We do a lot of new metal?
No.
I mean, we do other things.
We never make anybody happy.
Yeah.
Some people are never satisfied.
Right.
Okay. Disturbed.
Disturbed, Down with the Sickness. Let's do it.
Down with the Sickness. I like actually the name of that. Let's
I'm sure.
go. I like this. I hear the drum. Okay, I don't think this is the best version. It sounds... I don't think this is the best version. It sounds kind of shitty. Huh?
Oh, that's good. Oh,
Really? Oh, I like that.
That's 20.
I like it.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Drowning deep in my sea of lonely, broken, your serpentine. Will you give it to me? It seems what's left of my human side is slowly changing in me. Will you give it to me? Looking at my own reflection, when suddenly it changes, violently it changes. Oh no, there is no turning back now. You've woken up the demon. Yeah, me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let everyone to me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mama, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. And this is the gift that has been given to me. I can see inside you the sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel. Will you give it to me? It seems that all that was good has died and is decaying.
Yikes.
In me. Will you give it to me? It seems you're having some trouble in dealing with these changes, living with these changes. Now the world is a scary place. Now that you've woken up the demon. Yeah, me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let it run to me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mama, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down. Oh, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then open the make. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. And this has now come over me.
Whoa, that took a turn.
That's interesting. I never really paid a lot of attention to Disturbed. So, well, this makes sense. The only time I heard this song was on MTV
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I never paid enough attention to them because you know what happened?
What?
I saw them live one time and
Yeah.
he did this when they were singing and that was it.
Why was that?
just
Look
couldn't.
at the dust you had on your face. Why was that it?
He just...
What did you feel like he was communicating?
It was at a Slipknot show and like... That was the Tattoo the Earth show, was them, Metallica, Slayer, and all that shit. And all these
Yeah.
bands like Slayer, you know, Chemical Warfare!
Yeah.
And then here comes David Draymond doing the fucking My Heart Will Go On fucking Titanic.
That's how you felt?
You know.
When did he do it? Before the show started, or during one of the songs?
He does it a lot. Like, "Ah," you know, like...
Really?
I just remember being at the show and I looked at my girl at the time and we just looked at each other like in complete disgust. We sat down. And it was in Giant Stadium. And so like if you didn't stand up you couldn't see shit. We just sat down for the rest of the show.
Wow.
And after that I never paid any attention to them.
Really?
Sorry. But I'm sure they were, you know, I mean, you know, they're legends in the game. I mean, they're one of the few bands that are still around. It's 2018. These motherfuckers are still doing their thing. So what do I know?
Can you separate yourself from that one thing?
Well, the point of that, at the time, I just couldn't deal with it. I was 17 years old. We couldn't deal with that. I just couldn't deal with that. You know, you're supposed to be angry and shit, you know? It was like, Slipknot was there. We're like, oh, man, blah, blah, blah. And then here comes... Couldn't do it. So the point is, I only saw the MTV version of this,
Yeah.
which didn't have that part in the
That
middle
ending there.
for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It after he says "and I dream" or something like that, he says "analyze me," analyze me, and then it just goes and it goes back to the chorus. Like all that shit in the middle, like
Wasn't there.
wasn't there. So I was like, what the fuck? That was a pretty crazy moment. I was like, okay,
Yeah, I'm like,
this individual has issues, mommy issues.
I know.
It was a dark and stormy night. Yeah. So there you are.
Okay.
He doesn't like his mom.
No, he
Oh,
doesn't.
alright.
You know what's weird? You're gonna be surprised because it shocked me, but I didn't feel sad like I do when usually like I hear those like mommy things. I felt like it was more like, you know, teenagers get like they don't get it. Like they don't get how wrong they are, and they think that they're right. And so like I don't know, that's how I felt like when he was saying it, like I don't know. Where is it? Can you find it, please? Right here. Well, see, when it said, I'll be a good boy, I promise, then I was like, oh no, because it sounded like a kid. But then, why did you hit me like that, mommy? Don't do it, you're hurting me. Well, I mean, anytime a kid gets smacked, it's gonna hurt. But I don't know if it, that beginning part sounded a little bit abusive, but then in the end, why did you have to be such a bitch? Why don't you just go fuck off and die? What, I don't know, like maybe this...
You stupid, abusive, sadistic fucking... Like,
Yeah, I just don't know if that's if I was being abused by my parents, I might say like in my journal or somewhere else. But this person, it makes it sound like they're actually saying it to the abusive parent, and that seems surprising that you would say things like that to somebody who you're what?
it just... I was born in Jamaica.
Yeah,
No matter what your mother is doing to you.
I know.
You say some shit like that, you better be ready to meet Allah.
Oh
No
my gosh. I know. I had a friend from Trinidad,
My
and
mother-
she said,
listen.
She said anything. She's like,
They
she
will
said,
fuck you up.
you guys in America, like people are worried about a spanking or whatever. She's like, please. She's like, she said one time, she said my grandmother threw a brick at me. I said, what? A brick? She said anything that was close by when you act out.
Done.
anything can be thrown at you.
Halas.
A shoe, a brick. I said, what? I couldn't even believe it. I was like, this is wild. But you're saying in Jamaica, it's the same thing.
Oh my gosh. You wouldn't have said some shit like that. You would have said some shit like that to your Jamaican parent. I assure you. I assure.
So I guess to me it just why can't that whole part? Fuck you. I don't. That to me, never stick your hand in my face again, bitch. Like I don't know if it's like you need to stop or if she had slapped him in the face or something like that. But to me, like at first it sounded like oh no, like it's an abuse. And then I started saying, wait a minute, maybe this is just some delusioned teenager who thinks that they can just say whatever kind of thing they want and do whatever they want, and they don't have any rules whatsoever, and they're just gonna do their thing. And then the parents like. Psh, don't say that to me.
Well, he's saying no.
Like,
he's saying no, mommy. So.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought maybe he was a kid.
He's personifying himself as a child. To me, I don't know. It kind of felt like a Korn ripoff.
Well, that's what I thought in the back of my head.
Korn has a song
thing.
called "Daddy," and it's "Daddy Why," blah blah
yeah,
blah.
but it didn't. Like I said, it didn't strike the emotion in me like Daddy did.
And then here you are talking about mommy.
Yeah,
it's like.
Well, in the Korn song, he's talking to his mom.
Well, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mother, my pain and stuff. But the song is called Daddy. He's talking
Yes,
to
I
his
know.
dad.
But at the end, isn't he talking again to his mom? Mom, doesn't that mommy?
No.
Before.
It's to
Are
his,
you sure?
I'm pretty sure it's to his. I mean, the point is it just. I don't, and maybe this would have been more impactful to the both of us if we would have heard this before hearing Daddy.
Yeah, maybe.
Daddy was obviously severely impactful, or maybe you're just now desensitized. Maybe you would have shed a tear. I don't know.
Honestly, I just can't separate myself from the teenage feel of it.
Well, it's hard because it's hard for me to kind of like pivot because he doesn't strike, and who are you to say measure a person's suffering? But like the way that he presents his music and whatever, like he doesn't present himself as a person who's like been through a lot of shit.
Korn does.
Korn, Slipknot,
You feel
like
it.
the way that they are, like they're not singers.
Yeah, and this, like, I was like rocking with it. Like, I didn't feel any like sad or anger or whatever.
Disturbed has always been very, very like clean,
yeah,
cut and
everything I've seen has been
whatever.
clean, yeah.
Like. Even the way he was saying it, like, he was still hitting notes and stuff like that as he was yelling at his mom.
I did like the part. I like that.
I think that's just
and
so
it's just
stupid.
corny to you.
Ooh, ah!
I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like listen to it again because I want to hear that part.
Of
course, I didn't like the end of the song there.
The song is just depressive to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, the beginning, I thought it was just like basically you have hate, I have hate, we all have hate. I really thought this was. It seems that all the good has died and is decaying in me. I thought that was a good line because that's how like if you let hate and stuff like that just start taking you over, then it does. Like all that good part of you feels like it's dead, but it doesn't feel like it's gone. It feels like it's just decaying. And you've seen stuff when it decays. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it seems like he's like turning into something. Like it says, "Will you give in to me? Will you give in to me?" It's like bitterness. It's like saying, "Okay."
Oh yeah.
And then it says, "The world is a scary place now that you've awoken the demon in me."
Yeah.
That I will say, like there have been a lot of times when growing up, it was like I felt pushed. Like I felt there were elements of people in my life that were like pushing me to go somewhere dark and become a certain type of a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also remember that time a couple nights ago we were having our walk and that guy was driving all slow. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then he turned back around.
Yeah.
And I just remember like my mind going to like a certain
right.
Because I'm like, yo, I was like, if this guy comes out, or because I remember being in New York and all the stuff. That's what people don't realize. It's like New York is not full of like tough people. New York is full of a bunch of scared people. And when you're in the inner city, is what I'm talking about. Everybody's scared to death. Nobody's a tough guy. Everybody's just scared. But what happens is like you live under so much fear. And it's such a terrible emotion to feel 24/7 that you transform it into like a lot of rage and anger and like you become everybody like that was around me was and I still like my older brother figured out a way to exist there and not become that type of person, and I never really understood how he did.
He didn't involve himself in it, right?
Yeah, my brother was just, he was able to just ignore stuff and ignore people. At the time, I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You know, I was, you know.
And it's crazy because your dad, your brother is not like...
He's like my dad. Shout out to the big homie.
He's not like... I want to be respectful, it's the only word I can think of. It's not what I want to say. He's not like a baby that would like, just wants to do some little, like... He's not a coward, you know what I'm saying? Like...
Who?
Your brother.
No.
You know what I'm saying? He's not a coward.
Doing what he's
you
doing
think,
now, he's not
right,
a
that's what
coward.
I'm saying. You think, oh, he didn't involve himself and he's some kind of a... He's not.
No, he was...
He was smart enough to
was
figure
just
out how to
smart.
not waste his energy on...
He was just
you know,
smart. Well, not being around females was very helpful to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean that gets you in a lot of trouble, and there are a lot of dynamics to that. So it's just, I just remember all the time like being on the train and like my mom never, for some reason, I never took the train with. We never rode together on the train. But there's one time we were riding on the train and I was kind of like, and she said, "What is wrong with you?" She'd never seen me like that. She's like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And I was, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, but like it was like a
Defense.
It's hard. It's
mechanism.
yeah, but it's like hard to explain. Like it was something more than that. It was just like,
Feel supernatural?
well, I don't know how supernatural it was, but it was like there are very few times when you. This guy, I was reading this thing from this Navy SEAL one time, and they come up with all these different patches, and one of the patches was "Embrace the Hate," and he was talking about how they would think about 9/11 before they would, you know, they were going, you know, the load out or whatever, and they were going to spin out and go, you know, whatever, and that was their motto in their little crew was "Embrace the Hate," because it was like you had to like embrace that dark side of yourself, you know, because you're gonna go and kill people up close, like you're CQB. So like you're going in a house and all this shit. So it's like you're killing dudes in front of their parents and in front of their kids and shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you have to be a really hateful motherfucker to do that. You know, because it's not like conventional shit. You got a line over there, you got a line over there. You're going to somebody's house,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and while they're sleeping because they have a weapons cache there, and if the guy's dumb enough to do anything other than freeze, he's dead.
Right.
So, but so it was like that. It was like this when you're hearing like, "Will you give in to me?" Like, "Will you?"
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I just remember consciously like embracing real dark shit about myself and being
Wow.
and everybody's carrying weapons, you know, and like being ready to be like, "I'm gonna do this," because it's a really crazy idea to think to yourself like, this guy comes this much closer to me, I'm gonna, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that other time with my other guy, my other brother, where he come back and one of his friends got in trouble with somebody or whatever, and he pulls a knife on the guy, and the guy goes, "What?" He goes upstairs and gets his gun. And so my little brother's chilling on the car, and his friend had a knife, and then the dude has a gun, so his friend runs away. So now my brother and this dude are like, and my brother's like, if you come 1 inch closer to me, I'm gonna blow you away, my 45. And the dude had his, you know, whatever, and like because it's like you,
Yeah. Whoa.
but it's like. But you just go, your mind is just more...
You're in a different place.
It's really, you feel powerful as hell, but it's very dark, and it's very, you got to get put in really extreme circumstances to be like, and of
Yep.
course he was a Marine, so
Yep.
like it's just very strange
Yep.
to be like that. And it's like, you look back and you don't even reckon, like my mom was like genuine. My mom wasn't afraid of anything. Like, there were like 3 or 4 times in my entire life when I saw my mom scared of stuff, and my mom had been through like crazy shit. Like crazy stuff had happened to her, so like it took a lot. But I remember she was afraid of me, and she felt sorry for me, but she was afraid of me at the same time. Like she was like, "What is this?"
What was that like? Oh, you mean on the subway?
When I was on the train, yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, she'd never seen that.
Did
part of
you?
it.
So you recognized it at that moment? Whoa, she's scared of me?
Yeah. Well, I recognized that she was scared, and I recognized it like, whoa. And that was like a kind of a wake-up call to me too, but at the same time, it's like, it didn't change anything because I still had to go on the train the next day. Still on the 149th Grand Concourse. I mean,
Wow.
you know, so I mean, so that's a very, it seems like there's like this, given to me, and I don't even know if it was like demonic or if it was just like everybody has a dark side to them, and it's very rare that people like purposely say, I'm gonna go and like pull out the worst version of myself, and like boom, like people very rarely do that. Most people, doesn't matter what you believe or don't believe, they push that back, they push that side of themselves back, and they push that, they don't like willfully call it up. Even when you're listening to music, like a lot of metal is like people trying to fight against their dark side and like have an outlet so that the evil side of themselves doesn't actually manifest in the real world. That's what they're trying to accomplish. So it's like, it's very rare that a person is like purposefully, actively saying, I'm gonna call up the worst part of myself and like live in that.
Wow.
So like that's what that's saying to me, and then it's like you've woken up the demon in me and whatever.
I saw somebody had posted. I was trying to find a way to like share it like from their thing, but I don't know if it was on Facebook or if it was on Instagram. But it was like this like weird looking figure, and he was like standing there like all sad, and then it was like pain, and pain was kicking him, and suffering, and like all these things were kicking him, and then up walks the same like looking figure, but it says metal, and he hugs him, and so he's like, ooh. So like. I was like, yeah, but I can see like how that's like that, like I would have shared it on our page too from theirs, but I don't know how to do it. Anyway, but yeah, I think you're right, and I think that at different points in your life, like even, I mean, my upbringing was not like that at all, but there was still different points in my life where, yeah, the same thing, like your shadow self wants to come forward as a coping mechanism to help you deal with whatever you have pain in your life, whatever that is. Even if it's not as extreme as that situation, for me, it wasn't a life or death situation from outside sources. It was life or death from my own self,
Right.
So you still have like that.
Yeah.
Still that fight is there.
Yeah. So like down with the sickness is like.
Give into it.
Give into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And is he saying basically when they're hitting him and going after him, that's evidence that they gave into the sickness?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, the reason I got that was because he says, what is going on? I see it inside you, the sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel. Will you give in to me? Wait a minute.
Well, I think that's
the sickness.
Evil.
Yeah, talking to him.
His shadow self.
No, there was something else. Keep scrolling a little bit. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I just kind of read that into there. I thought it was... Oh, no. Open up your hate and let it flow into me.
Yeah, that's his shadow self saying, let all that flow into me so that I could take over.
Yikes. Okay, yeah. All right.
I think it's a precautionary tale, man. Like, because that, like, it's true. Like, if you let... and now... like when I was talking to that Nazi kid, some people were saying, well, that's crazy. Other people were saying, whoa, you're such an amazing person, let that happen. It's like, well, I know what it's like to be a person like taken over by hate.
Yikes.
And the kid, I could tell when I was talking to him, he was nowhere near that. He was just really, really hurt, but he hadn't gone there. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is much more easy and light. You feel a lot lighter when you choose to love people.
Yeah.
I get older, I get like the more practical Jesus's teachings have come for just overall mental health. Even if I wasn't seriously, even if I was
so funny, but you think you're right.
It's just like being a dark, evil person who has to exact vengeance and like even the score all the time is so exhausting, and it takes a lot out of you. It gives you a sense of power. I've experienced both of them, and like I've experienced power in both instances. Like you feel, because like you're on that train and you're like, anything can happen to me at any time for any reason or no reason at all. And it's like a very powerless feeling, but then you embrace that darkness and you're like, okay, I'm willing to do anything. 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 So somebody comes at me as a 7, I'm going as an 11. Like, and you feel very powerful, and you hear shit like nobody can fuck with you. Like, you hear that shit in your head. And so, like, it's very, very powerful feeling. But then when you get home and then you're safe, it's like you feel completely drained.
Wow.
Like, you feel like it takes everything out of you. Like, you're like, boom. You're just
Wow.
like, sometimes I just lay on my bed and just be like, and like, but then other times when, like, you're confronted with something hateful or evil, and you overcome it with good, you also hear, like, they can't touch you. Like, you know, it's like when Jesus said, you know, I've given you authority over snakes and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, nothing shall harm you. Like, you just feel like, and it's crazy because he had also just said, I'm sending you like sheep among wolves. So, like, what do you mean nothing can harm you? It's like nothing can harm your inside. Like, nothing can harm your spirit. Like, nobody's gonna, your sakina, your peace. Like, nobody can touch that. And you feel a sense of power. And after that, after the encounter, you feel more powerful than before. So when I'm talking to somebody that's got like a very hateful, you know, Facebook ID or whatever you call it, you know, white power motherfuckers, you know, and that's supposed to make me hateful. But then you actually engage that with love, and you actually love the person, not as a matter of principle, but in real life, you actually love the person, and you engage them and you talk to them. You feel the power. You say that all the hate that's going on with this person, they can't touch you at all, and you're above that. You're not above the person, but you're above the hate inside the person. And then you're like, oh. And it's a different type of power, and I felt both of them. This right here is crazy because it's so much easier to do this.
Yeah.
Because of your ego.
Yep.
You know, your ego is saying, like, I don't know if it's easy to do that, because it's actually very, very difficult to be that, to get that dark, to be honest with you.
It's difficult to get that dark?
Yeah, it is. Because there's all these natural, at least it was for me, there's all these, like, natural stopgaps to say, no, stop, no, you don't want to do that to that person, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's, you know, and you have to, like,
Keep going past
all those things. That's why I said, like, not many people have gone there. Like, it's, you know, so it's exhausting. It's extremely exhausting. God almighty. But this right here is crazy. Down with the sickness. Good Lord. I didn't really like the guitar work. It's just too repetitive for me.
Oh. I was fine with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like you really, really enjoyed the song.
I did. I didn't like that end part though. That wrecked me. I think I like the MTV version.
It wrecked you, or it wrecked it? It wrecked the song, or
No, it didn't wreck me. No, I didn't feel wrecked. No, I wrecked the song. For me, it wrecked the song. I was like, ugh. Because I was liking it. I liked it. But then I'm like, you can't like just jam out to this horror, you know? Like, if the person's like actually singing about their abuse, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, okay, that's different. And if it's the disrespectful teenager, in which case I feel bad for the mom, and I still can't rock out to it.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that about metal. I feel bad for the mom.
Well, I'm saying if it's a disrespectful teenager, she's trying to make it work, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Madness is a gift that has been given to me. It is madness when you get like that. It's temporary insanity, that's for sure.
You know what? I was a much happier person when I just had the turn the other cheek mentality, and I never like literally got slapped by anybody, but I'm saying like just in regards to if somebody does something to you, just whatever. And then the whole like the verse that says vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay.
Yeah.
Like I just let it be. And it wasn't I didn't even have to try. It was just like whoop, and it was so easy. Like life was much easier then.
It is. It
now I'm like
everything.
I want to exact vengeance when I think of certain situations, things that are so wrong, and then the person I feel like got away with it. And I'm like,
really?
Well, you know what I'm talking about. The thing I was talking to you about this morning.
Yeah, but they didn't get away with it. Miserable as hell.
Yeah, they're miserable. But I don't like, I'm like, let the record show!
It's not enough that God knows.
Apparently not. But I know it would be enough for you.
Well, the thing is, I don't want that person miserable because they've pretty much lost at life at this point.
I don't want them miserable. I just want the records to show.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure you gotta figure it out. Yeah, well, I mean, in this song, the guy uses the score, he kills her. Get ready to die.
Yeah, I mean,
Me so tired.
I don't want to be that kind of person. I do like the part though. I'm sorry, but I like that part. I really do. I love it. I'm gonna give it a 10. I'm just kidding. I should have let it go longer.
What do you give it?
Honestly, I would give it a 7.
Rescue me from this.
But I'm gonna give it an 8 because of the what do you get in it?
I was gonna give it a 7, and I'm gonna give it a 6 for the wah.
You're terrible.
It's actually a 5 for me.
Are you serious?
Basic riff.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun sounding.
It's probably something of an emotional vote because
when he did that, that was it.
No, it's not that. It's just reminding me of like.
Oh my word! I know. So.
You know, like that moment with my mom. That wasn't a. I didn't realize it, but that was a pretty bad moment for me. Because my mom, we had so many wars, me and her, but she always like. I was always like the little fat red baby is what she used to, red boy. That's what she used to call me, you know. So it's like one of those moments when she realized that, you know, I wasn't like that anymore. It was bad.
Oh man.
Really, and I've said a lot of fucked up shit to like we both said terrible things to each other. But if I could take that back, if I could like erase
one thing, it would be that moment.
I would have erased that moment for sure. You know, because it's like, I don't know. It's a tough time. It's bad. But anyway. Alright, so it's a 5 for me.
On a lighter note, you're the only person that ever talks about themselves and uses the word fat as a descriptive and feels like it was like a happy term. Like the way you said it, it was like some people were like, I was fat when I was little. But you're like, you were like, it's like endearing to you, like you were loved by your mother, your chubby little self, or whatever. I don't know. It was just interesting. It's cute to watch you say it.
Okay.
Did you feel loved by her in that sense, like when you were saying it, the way that she would call you, like her red boy and stuff like that? Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah. Well, it was her like it was code when she was really, really mad at me. Yeah. And if you were an outsider and you saw the way she looked when she said it, you're like, whoa. But it was code that it was a term of endearment, even though she was very angry at that.
Oh, really?
You're a red boy, you rude, you're feisty.
You what? You did what?
Feisty.
You ruined your face?
Feisty means you're rude.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the Jamaican.
Anytime I see the red tones in your skin, I think of her.
It's a Jamaican
matter of fact,
term.
halfway through this song, I noticed how red your hand looked right here. I was like, oh.
This has nothing to do with anything. It's a 5.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna log off here. And that was an 8 for me.
We gotta do this fireside.
No, we already did it by the time they see it, you weirdo.
Oh, that's true. That's why you said tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, well, delete this part.
Nope. I'm gonna add your shame into it.
Absolutely no shame whatsoever.
Sorry, out.
Gone. Weirdo.